We also have to add in here that xylazine and nizine, those are in the benzodiazepine family. Those drugs have a longer life to them, so they're going to stretch that fentanyl high.
He's quoted as saying, the fentanyl supply is drying up for some reason. Hang out on the streets, talk to people. The drugs are hard to find and more expensive. I'm buying the expensive part, but I'm not buying the harder to find part.
You also have to take a look at the fact that, Narcan has made a difference, and those reports, I have to say, have been out for a while now, that overdose deaths are decreasing.
I'm Flindt Andersen, founder of PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need. I've been in recovery since 2001, and there isn't much I don't know about recovery. And my mission is to constantly tell the truth about addiction, to make the realities of addiction, recovery, and drug culture known, and to drive awareness and advocate change that ultimately saves lives.
And I'm Jason LaChance, a certified recovery coach with a passion for speaking with others and sharing their knowledge to help others seek recovery and maintain long-term sobriety. And this is the Don't Hide the Scars podcast, presented by PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need. Mr. Andersen, how are we, good sir?
I'm good. How are you doing, Jason?
I am well, thank you for asking. Amongst the crap storm of life, I'm well. I'm well.
I don't think there's a person in America that's not dealing with the crap storm of life.
Yes.
In these days and times, I'll tell you.
It is just the variety of what it is. And hey, welcome to life.
Welcome to life.
That's how it goes. Anybody that goes, oh, my life is perfect, I don't know that you want to trust that individual.
I don't think so.
Well, speaking of perfect, we're going to look at the opposite of it. We found a story that stood out to me as an NPR story, and the title was "The Pipeline of Deadly Fentanyl in the U.S. May Be Drying Up," experts say. And I think we're going to jump on that word "maybe" because, plowing through the article, I'm finding it kind of hard to believe. The individual said, Dan Cicerone, who's a physician and street drug researcher at the University of California, San Francisco, sent a team to gather data on the city's streets in areas where illicit fentanyl has been a killer for years. And he's quoted as saying, the fentanyl supply is drying up for some reason. Hang out on the streets, talk to people. The drugs are hard to find and more expensive. I'm buying the expensive part, but I'm not buying the harder to find part.
No, I'm not either. And let's go back to the word expert too. What makes him an expert in this? The fact that he's got MD after his name? I don't think so. Look, we work with people that are neck deep in this thing. Okay, I doubt this guy very seriously is as neck deep as most of us are in it, and that this is the first, and surprisingly, really out of San Francisco, and you also have to take a look at the fact that so we went to some certain locations in downtown areas. Yeah. All right, I mean, come on, dude, are you hitting the local schools? Are you hitting the outlining areas? No, you're not, because you're not going to get your lazy ass out and go and do that. Okay, you're going to go where your neighborhood is, and so it might be drying up because those people are dying off, or they don't have the money to buy it. And if it's getting more expensive, they're not going to have the money to buy it.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, are you going through, for those who don't know, San Francisco, the Tenderloin, that is one of the key areas. I had my personal experience back in May going through there and just really seeing the impact on what I was told was, that was a slow night of people just hunched over. So, maybe there's a situation of the open air drug markets. Maybe there's a little bit more, because we are seeing a bit of a shift in public safety starting to take hold. I know, we know people in San Francisco, they're tired of it. So maybe this is it, that it's not being as prevalent out and about. Thus, that's driving up cost a little bit. Or it's supply and demand. If you've got more people that are addicts, you can charge a higher price. That's just how it works, period, with anything. I mean, we all need gas. they know it. If you're in California, you know it ain't cheap and it looks like it might get more expensive, and that's just how it goes.
Right.
And as far as the fewer overdoses, well, maybe fewer reported, maybe more people are getting their hands on Narcan, and then, thus after an overdose is reversed, they're not reporting it.
You also have to take a look at the fact that, yeah, Narcan has made a difference. And those reports, I have to say, have been out for a while now that overdose deaths are decreasing. Okay. I don't know by how much. I don't think anybody can put a number on it. And I like the fact that they're decreasing. Here comes the but.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the people after they've overdosed and lived. Where are they? What are they doing? Are they getting help? And probably not, because there's no help out there for these people to get.
Mm-hmm.
So where are these people going? Are they just going down deeper into the rabbit hole to where we don't see them? Have they died of something else?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of questions. You just can't make blanket statements like that, because there's so much to this problem that to come out with a blanket statement and expect everybody to go, "Oh, well done, everybody, well done."
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it's not well done. Okay, it's a start. I don't want to take anything away, because Narcan does save lives, but there's so much more to it that the general public doesn't understand about any of this.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's an absolute fact. And hey, you know, I'm still learning so much. You know, it's a pretty interesting scenario as this article goes on, and we'll have a link for it there in the podcast description so people can read along and make a judgment for themselves. You know, there's some that are saying it's a development that many drug policy experts wouldn't imagine this situation, but maybe that the smuggling's getting a little bit harder. I don't know about that. I mean, like you said, an election year, all of a sudden there was a shift for those in the controlling party of this situation. But I just find it hard. Another quote from this is, "Everyone has been caught by surprise by the extent of the adulteration of fentanyl." No, no, we haven't. No, we haven't. And
wait a minute, did that doctor say that?
No, this is Felble Brown. He is Vanda Felble Brown at the Brookings Institute, who studies international crime organizations that make and smuggle fentanyl. Yeah, he goes on to say, and even more significantly, by claims in certain places in the U.S. that there is not enough fentanyl available. I don't know where that is, because it's not San Francisco, it's not L.A., it's certainly not Philadelphia, where where the xylozine's getting mixed in with the trank and everything else. So I'm not really sure what data they're supposedly pulling off of here. Are they looking at that as far as a determination against the amount of bust of stuff that is actually coming over the borders? Are they taking a look at the now trace chemicals that are coming through the borders undetected and then being mixed here? I mean, I don't know where they're really comprising this data. The article doesn't say it's. I like NPR for the most part, but this is just an NPR article that leads to nothing. It's just a bunch of statements with no facts. Like, what are the facts?
Right. So what we need to do is you need to reach out to NPR, get one of these guys on the horn here. Okay. See if they'll come on and do this podcast and get this Tupac, whoever he is. Okay. Back at the Brookings Institute. Let's see if we can get his ass on here. All right. Because I want to know where this guy came up with this data, because we have cartels in all 50 states. The cartels aren't going to put people in all 50 states if there's a shortage of fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, they're not going to do it. And I'm getting ready to do this deal this Friday, that I'm explaining to these people that fentanyl is he might be talking about maybe powder fentanyl. I don't know, but where's the M30 pills? How about the fake Percocets? How about the fake Xanax? How about the 70% of cocaine or fentanyl laced into cocaine? How about even the smaller amounts of heroin now that we're seeing that is laced with fentanyl? What about the combination of xylazine, nilazine, and fentanyl? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
These guys don't know their ass from a covered ground hole. Okay, it is beyond, again, I say this a lot, it's beyond human, anybody with a human brain, okay, that these guys can make these blanket statements like that without knowing all the facts. Hence, it goes back to they're not asking the right people.
Yeah.
What is going on here? They're afraid to probably ask DEA. They're afraid to probably ask any law enforcement because they're afraid of hearing what the truth is out there.
Yeah.
I think they're almost afraid of asking people like us because they're afraid of hearing the truth. Granville, home of hope. Here we go again. 2024. We're back. Granville Homes is building a brand new home. We're going to give it away on December 4th. 2024. You can get your ticket. It's $100, or you can get a bundle of tickets for $200, which includes the chance of winning a brand new Lexus for 2 years. And Payne will receive 100% of all the proceeds from the tickets that we sell, as well as the 8 other nonprofits that are involved with this event. So you can go to our website. You can find out there how you purchase the tickets. We can't sell the tickets online for legal reasons. But other than that, you can call our number. You can reach out to our office, and we'll show you how to get those. So help us out.
I agree. And the article continues to go on and begs the question, are Mexican drug cartels and their Chinese partners finally feeling pressure? And I mean, this was a really good thing, and it does bring up some of the facts. I mean, there's a quote on that there were nearly 70,000 pounds of fentanyl seized along the southwest border in the 24 months ending in August. So there has been some more seizures going on, and there has been some more things happening. But it's like I had said in my previous statement, they're going to adjust real quick. Like, I know dealers are slick.
Yep.
For the most part. They're pretty slick. And so, that's fine if you caught and took in that much just fentanyl, but these chemicals are still coming through mixed in different locations. Well, I don't know about you. If it seems to me that the pills, it costs so much to press down there, but I got to bring all the chemicals up through the border and then press them here, I'm going to raise my prices. It sounds like it's going to cost me a little bit more to do so.
Right. No, that's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. These guys aren't going to stop. First of all, I don't think it's ever going to stop. Okay? I just don't think it's ever going to stop. But until there is some, I'm sorry, call it mass destruction. I don't care. Okay, mass destruction of these cartels and the politicians in those countries that are allowing this to go on, until something is drastically done here. Okay, it's not going to stop. They're going to keep finding ways to get it in. It's.
Let me throw this out to you, Flindt. This just occurred to me. So for those that are listening and don't understand maybe what nilazine and xylazine do when mixed with fentanyl, i.e., let's talk just tranq. What it does is usually someone that is using fentanyl, we figure what about it? And once you're like a full-blown addict, about every 2 hours or so, you're going to need another fix.
Yeah, every hour and a half to 2 hours, you got to dose yourself.
Yeah. So tranq,
it's short acting.
Right. So tranq stretches it out, and they say, what, 6 to 8 hours? Am I correct on my numbers? Okay. Yes. So if all of a sudden you have more of your chemical, your fent, being mixed with the xylazine, and you're creating tranq, and now it's taking longer, if I'm an addict, I may not be needing as many hits.
That's correct.
So
that's a great point.
So my desire to buy is lessened. And with that type of thing, again, you could look at it from an economic standpoint. Would that want me to lower the price as a dealer or raise the price so that I reach my margins? Because it may not be the guy that's here selling it on the street in Fresno, California, but the upper guy, he's making those decisions and telling them their price point.
Yeah, that is an excellent point, because remember, we also have to add in here that xylazine is and nizine. Those are in the benzodiazepine family, so those have a longer life to them. That falls in the line with the Valium and Xanax.
Mm.
So those drugs have a longer life to them, so they're going to stretch that fentanyl high out there a lot more. Hence, you're seeing the people slunched over, walking like zombies. Those two drugs and the combination of those and fentanyl that causes that effect in the body.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And they did go on to say that the article did go on to say that that we all need to be real careful about being too optimistic of the situation. He said, not everyone is convinced the reduction in fentanyl supply on America's streets is meaningful. Various states that are, pay attention to it, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, some of those southern states, they're not seeing any decrease. They've very much stated that it's an increase in those, especially in their urban communities. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe a shift of location of some stuff, maybe.
Or maybe it's just our wonderful governor, Gavin Newsom, all right, who made a little phone call to this cat, sitting over there at Berkeley or wherever the hell he's at, and said, I need you to leak this story out. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah. Yeah, we get it. And it is. And it's sad that so much of this stuff gets politicized, because we're talking about human lives, and really you being reelected or your policies being pushed through shouldn't matter. But
right.
But again, this is why I don't run for politics, Flindt. Couldn't do it. Don't have the stomach for it. But, speaking of sneaky ways, and you educated me that, hey, this has been going on for a long time, but recently a California man named Christopher Patrick Laney was charged in connection with many overdoses and a death of a customer, and he was delivering all of his fentanyl with a drone. Now, this is the first time I've seen this story, and you're like, hey, kid, wake up. This has been going on forever.
It's been going on quite some time, actually. Drones are, they come in all different sizes. People imagine a drone, and they imagine, these oversized, almost small aircraft, that are hovering, 10,000 miles up in the air and snapping pictures. Drones can be as little as model airplanes. And look, this has been going on for not years and years and years, but it's been going on for, a few. Okay. Look, again, these cartels and drug dealers, they're not idiots. Okay. What about, I'll never forget watching the cocaine wars, all the documentaries on the cocaine wars. And there was a cartel back, I think it was like 1979. Right? Literally bought a submarine.
Yeah.
Right? Because these guys, I mean, you have to remember the amount of money that these guys made and are making today. They make the people on the Forbes Fortune 500 look like paupers. When Pablo Escobar that said he was the richest man in the world, they're just not whistling Dixie. Okay, that was a fact.
Yeah,
this guy was burying tons. I mean, tons. I'm not using that term lightly. Of bags of cash in farmers' ranches all throughout Colombia, because they had nowhere else to put it. They couldn't clean it enough. They couldn't wash it. They couldn't launder it. All right. So what, you don't think these guys are going to try everything? Yeah. They bought a submarine. and I could just imagine about 5 little Colombian guys in there, okay, going, gee, what button do I push? Okay. They literally took the submarine through the Caribbean and into the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So what, a drone's out of the picture? No. I've also heard stories of how this is how sometimes they smuggle drugs into prisons. Okay, because and again, people have to understand there is what's the word? There's a method to that. Okay, and what I mean by that is there's a guard that has to be paid off here, a guard that has to be paid off there, another guard outside, whatever it is, right? Because somebody's going to notice a drone coming in somewhere, I think, in a prison. So again, not everybody's on the up and up here.
Yeah.
With all of this stuff. But what a great, think about it. It's pretty ingenious, that these guys are doing.
Yeah. And I guess it took investigators a while to connect who it was, through several photos and then eventually tracking this drone. It's one of those pretty good sized ones, 6 blades, could go a long distance, but the picture's great. So if you're listening, you can see it on the YouTube channel right now. The drone, it's literally, it's carrying 2 pounds of fentanyl. Wow. It's a pretty good sized drone. So when they busted this guy, he's going away for quite a while. I guess that he's facing 25 years to life in prison. The sentencing is still going through because somebody died, so they're trying to pin the murder charge on him, which could, as well as he was found with some automatic weapons and some other illegal firearms. So, the whole kit and caboodle, throw the whole kitchen sink and everything at this guy.
Absolutely. How people can still think that this is what do they call it, a non-violent crime? Is that the term?
Yeah.
This stuff, selling fentanyl or any type of drug, creates crime.
Mm-hmm.
From the back end to the front end.
New Perceptions North, the premier drug and alcohol treatment and recovery center in Central California. A full continuum of medically supervised top quality care with programs for detox and patient residential treatment with dual diagnosis, intensive outpatient treatment, sober living support groups, and more. New Perceptions North provides adult men and women with the highest caliber of professional health care, treating each client with compassion and respect, in a safe, comfortable environment to begin the process of recovery to proudly create and sustain a life without addiction. Call 559-978-1507 or visit newperceptionsnorth.com.
It just does. I don't understand how people can even think that way. I can't even think how somebody would say, oh, you know what? 5 years is too long. Really? I just don't. The way these drugs ruin families and ruin lives, and most of these lives don't come back from it.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking death. I'm just talking life. Okay. Their lives are forever changed. Their brain chemistry is forever changed. Their way of thinking is forever changed. And it takes a miracle sometimes for some of these folks to come back from this. Yeah. And there's many of us out there that are very fortunate that we did come back, because another left turn somewhere instead of a right turn, who knows where I'd be?
Yeah.
Who knows where I'd be? I could be in a prison somewhere, or even worse, in a Mexican prison somewhere.
Yeah.
You just don't know. So I have no problem with these guys getting life, 25 years, whatever it is. But I'll tell you what, they wind up killing somebody over this, even though somebody will say, well, they didn't put the drug in their system. Yeah, bullshit, they did. Okay, yeah. You gave it to them, right? I have no problem with somebody getting life or the death penalty on something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to make they need to have some ownership in their actions. And, and if we talk the violent part of it, if you just take an individual who is overdosing in general and what that body goes through, and then eventually with death, if you watch that, see that, know what that is, and you tell me that isn't violence, I don't know what to say for you.
Right.
It's an incredibly violent process through the convulsions and, the vomiting oneself and, excreting fluids and yeah. So come on, people, we need to get a little bit more real about what this is. And I'm sorry, the compassion, I just don't have any for the dealer.
None. It's interesting. I was watching this show, started watching it last night, along with our other one, the Penguin. Okay,
uh,
it's called. I can't remember if it's Hotel Cocaine or Cocaine Hotel, and I'm watching. And this takes place back in 1978 in Miami, where the free flow of cocaine in Miami was basically from 73 to 78,
mm,
where you could actually go in, or 79, you could actually go in and sit at these clubs and do it on the table, and DEA agents were in there, and but now comes 1979, it's starting to tighten up a little bit. But I'm watching the show is also about these brothers that Cubans
mm.
that ditched Castro, almost like what was the one Pacino was in,
Scarface.
Scarface.
Scarface, man.
Yep. But these two guys, there was a scene where they were sitting at their at their kitchen table. One was a flat out just mega drug dealer. Okay. The other one wasn't. He was a hotel manager, but circumstances kind of forced him to come back to his brother a little bit. And as these two guys were talking, the general manager of this hotel was saying, "Look, I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not a killer. I'm none of those things. But he did some pretty violent things to get out of Cuba." Okay.
Mm.
And probably did a couple violent things as they were pinned up in Miami in those camps. And of course, the upbringing that these two men had was just crap. Okay, I mean, just everything, violence all around them. And as I'm sitting there watching the other guy, the drug kingpin, talk about this for a brief second, I was like, God, do I really blame the guy?
Hmm.
And of course I snapped back out of it because that was kind of an emotional scene. And I went, well, yeah, okay, because no, I'm sorry. What you're doing is just totally wrong here. But for that brief second, I just sat there. Wow, dude, you were in this before you even knew it.
Yeah.
So I think some of those massive drug dealers, especially the older ones that are now gone, right? They did it for other reasons, I believe. The ones today, these guys are just animals. They're just brutal, selfless, don't care about human life, don't care about anything, anybody. They don't even care about the people that work for them. Okay, it's all about the money. Period. So again, I mean, we're doing movies now, right? But it just seems like that was even a different era back then. These guys today are just pigs.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and but we are seeing a bit of a shift continue too with the sentencing. We actually, another article that I had found. The headline is Fairbanks man's fatal fentanyl overdose leads to life sentence for California dealers. So, a California man has been sentenced to life in federal prison for sending fentanyl pills to Alaska that caused a man to die about 4 years ago. This Junior Talulis was sentenced by U.S. Attorney for Alaska Lane Tucker's office. A jury convicted him in April. And now he's going to be in prison for life. And so,
Joy.
yeah. And for people that may not realize, granted, Alaska, huge amount of land, population, not so much, but this problem has hit Alaska very bad. Addiction has always been an issue up there, especially alcoholism. But the fentanyl crisis has really affected Alaska in a way because there's so many people that live secluded from one another. I was reading a story about somebody that, their friends weren't used to seeing them, but maybe every 6 months. Well, they went to check on them. They had been dead for 5.
Right.
So I think there's finally a shift in action being taken. I think that not only have there been leaders, DAs, that have been wanting to prosecute, but now society with us wanting to shift too, that whatever we are convinced of a, you know, lighter on crime, I don't know how else to put it. It doesn't work. It's not working. It's not doing any good.
No, look, and kind of getting back to Alaska here, you were absolutely correct. Alaska has always had an enormous alcohol and methamphetamine issue.
Yeah.
In Alaska. Native Americans, sad to say, have one of the highest rates of alcohol addiction and methamphetamine addiction of any nationality.
Yeah.
And again, there's reasons behind that, whether you agree with them or don't agree with them. The fact remains, this is what is going on up there. Now, what surprises me is if you've got cartels, and like we say, they're now in all 50 states, when you put a cartel puts their people in Nome, Alaska, gee, who are you seeing walking down the street?
Yeah.
I mean, again, people may get mad at this, but I don't give a damn. Okay. When you're seeing somebody walking down the street that looks like a drug dealer, acts like a drug dealer, talks like a drug dealer, walks, talks, and craps like a duck, it's a duck. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably wear the colors as they're walking down the street. So what about, and I know it's difficult, okay, preventative and all that, right? But man, law enforcement, you can definitely do some undercover work on these fellas.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they are. I don't know. I would certainly hope so. But I'm sorry. Walking down, it reminds me that show Northern Exposure. Remember that one? I mean, can you imagine some cartel guys walking down the street in Sitka, Alaska?
Yeah.
I mean, God, they're going to stand out like sore thumbs all over the place. Gee, what's wrong with this picture? I mean, come on. God dang it. Give me a break.
It is interesting times, for sure. And, to kind of wrap up where we started, with that article discussing that, fentanyl supply drying up and everything else. And, looking at the, seizure numbers that happened in the United States in 2022 and 2023, 2023, fentanyl was the highest by far, followed by methamphetamines. And then heroin is almost nil. Cocaine is next to nil. Right. I just don't see that supply decreasing. Granted, methamphetamine stays still incredibly high as well, not too far behind fentanyl. And I don't know if Fent's just taking the headline, so to speak, a little bit more often than methamphetamines, but we still have a huge methamphetamine problem in this country.
Huge. Yeah. And again, it goes back to I think we were talking about, last week, was that insurance companies don't pay for methamphetamine or cocaine detoxes. They will not pay for detox or residential stay for those two drugs, which again, to me is criminal.
Yeah.
So again, how do we even get a small handle on the problem, or even a small handle on how to get somebody clean and give them the right tools to move forward in life, hoping they can have a decent life, if we can't even get them through the door to get them detoxed properly?
Yeah. None
of it makes any sense to me.
We got a lot of suffering going on, and we need solutions to it, not just conversations anymore. It's like, can we start forming an actual plan of attack here on this and start implementing some things?
It's like watching Harris again. Okay, and how many times does she say that we're going to address these issues, and then we're going to discuss them? No, honey, the time is over.
Yeah.
Supposedly you've been addressing these issues for 5 years. Okay. I don't want to hear that you're going to address the issue any longer to come up with a solution. You should have already addressed these issues. Did we not learn from the Purdue Pharma mess, which we didn't? Okay. Mm-hmm. History repeats itself. It's well known that history repeats itself if you don't take care of the problem. So give me another break, okay, and stop telling me that.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, independent. If you want to vote for a donkey to get in the White House, I don't care. Okay. But stop telling the BS, okay, and get to some solutions here. I just don't understand how hard that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like with everything that, hey, our social security system's a mess. We got so many things that are, but all this stuff is not going to get addressed until it becomes an actual problem. It's just the way that it continues to go when it comes to government and these things. And it's my biggest gripe with it is, okay, you're not going to do anything, then please stop over-regulating us that can and will help, and just just support us to do our thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just get behind it. Just make it easy for us to do it and do it the right way. I'm not saying don't have, any oversight into things. Obviously, we've seen some nefarious stuff that happened in the Bay Area, especially with nonprofits that, money's gone. What, $56 billion in California alone that's just gone. They don't know where it went.
Right. Right.
How about we go ahead and track where it goes and get it to people that are going to do something with it and just back that. Like, yeah, checks and balances, make sure things and procedures are proper, but let's stop over regulating it and just help people help people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really kind of all we got in this life.
I know. And again, just kind of bring it on home with that. We've talked about this before too. Since 2009, there have been approximately 12,000 treatment centers that have shut their doors. Because they can't. Because look, not every treatment center is legitimate. They're money hungry assholes sometimes. Okay, and a lot of those were shut down. Back in 2017 to 2019. Okay. But you've got a lot of very, very decent people out there that truly want to help, but they cannot keep their doors open right now because of insurances and because of the policies and because of their payment procedures and all of those things. And so how are we even going to get a handle on any of this? Because we all know when we're in recovery, we all know that you've got to go through a process in order to get clean. Okay. In order to stop using, you've got to go through a process, and it's not a 7-day fucking process. Yeah. Okay. It takes time. So it's the rub here is that we've got so much to fix and almost not enough time to fix it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty sad for a country that is a wonderful country, that's a country that can basically do and get any job done. We just don't get this job done.
We're in a country now where literally as a child, I'm sure I fantasized about the fact a rocket could launch off and then it could land right on the same pad. It could be caught. We've done that now. And we've done it with privateers. Get the hell out of the privateers' way and let us catch this rocket of addiction. Would you?
Yeah. Great way. Great way to end it. That's it.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Andersen?
You just summed it all up. Get out of our way.
Every now and then, I got something good up here.
Well, because you always got something good up there. I just got to get you to vocalize it a lot more.
I know.
Okay? All right. Look, man. This is time to scream at the top of your voice. Okay.
I know.
You'll get there.
My mom's a beautiful, wonderful lady that raised her boys to have manners, but I gotta have a little bit more of that in me. Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta rock the boat, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we thank you all for watching on YouTube. Of course, our YouTube channel @Pain Nonprofit. If it's your first time watching, hit that subscribe button, leave a thumb up on the video and a comment down below, and please share with someone that you know will get value out of the Don't Hide the Scars podcast, which is also, of course, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can subscribe there, leave a rating and review. We would appreciate that, as well as a share if you enjoy the audio form.
If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, please call PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, at 559-579-1551, or visit us online at painnonprofit.org. Follow us on social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Pain Nonprofit. And please subscribe to the Don't Hide the Scars podcast and share with others wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. And if you would like to donate to PAIN, Parents and Addicts in Need, please click the link in the description to make your tax-deductible donation today and help us save more lives gripped by addiction.